Welcome back to the Cinema Sessions. My name is Keith, and as always, I'm joined by
Seamus. Hi guys.
Welcome to 2026. Big year ahead.
Oh yeah,
big time.
It's nothing would dent my optimism about this year.
We're gonna be big proper influencers, man.
And the way the world is, it's just put me. The world is
hands off Venezuela.
Yeah,
you up the lads.
We'll see how well that dates. Fuck me.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. Today we're talking about From Dusk Till Dawn, a film that starts as a gritty crime thriller and takes a hard left turn halfway through and suddenly becomes an all-out vampire movie. It's Tarantino's writing, Rodriguez's direction, and George Clooney becoming a movie star in real time. And, controversially in my opinion, a film that might be even better served if Quentin Tarantino had been replaced on screen by Paul Dano. So the big question tonight is simple. Is this one of the greatest cult films of the 90s or most successful cinematic bait and switches ever pulled? Welcome to the Dubliner's Guide to Cinema.
A nice, very appropriate introduction.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll
hands
see
off Paul Dano, hands off Venezuela.
We'll see how well the Paul Dano thing, how long that sticks in people's memory. Yeah.
Welcome to 2026.
Yeah. Well, the first thing maybe to mention since this
sovereignty means nothing anymore.
Well, at least we used to pretend it did.
Yeah.
This is the Dubliner's Guide to Cinema.
Yes.
So this film was banned in Ireland. Were you cognizant of this at the time?
This is something that came up in my research.
Yeah.
In the run up to this, it was not something I was aware of before. But I purposely knew that you'd look all into it.
Yeah. So I lived through it.
You lived through it, okay.
If that's quite
now,
the
is
way.
Is this got anything to do with blasphemy laws?
No, I just took it as they saw this as what I don't remember it being talked about much because there wasn't much film press in Ireland that I paid attention to at the time. I just assumed it was for the level of violence, basically. And then, of course, to make a huge joke of the whole thing, in the USA it was rated R, which meant, your 17-year-old uncle can take it to you, as Eminem said in that song that one time. And then I saw it when it was on Sky Movies. Yeah, it was on Sky Movies, which was freely available in Ireland if you paid whatever it was a month at 10 o'clock,
it was in the UK.
which wasn't even after the really bad. They used to show the porno movies after 11. Porno, I meant softcore porn. But
Emmanuel.
That kind of type of thing. A woman scorned and that kind of thing. Shannon Tweed movies. Now there's a deep cut. They were only shown after 11 o'clock because they were more completely out there, risky, whereas this was, as far as I remember, shown at 10 o'clock, so it wasn't even considered like a huge boundary pusher in the UK. It was 18s. So it was part of the swath of Tarantino stuff that was out in the 90s, and people were obsessed with him. Like everything that he touched, people were like, oh, and they were all pretty mainstream kind of big hits, like True Romance, Reservoir Dogs was actually maybe one of the smaller ones, funny enough. Then Pulp Fiction was obviously the big one, and then there was this, and then Natural Born Killers, which is for him the real,
apparently it's not the film he wrote, like, do you know what I mean? So
that's what
he took his name off it and everything.
Yeah, a lot of people have said it's like one of the best scripts they've ever read, his original one, and I think I did read it, but it didn't make it. I was just kind of.
It wouldn't be like Oliver Stone to be pissing people off just because he knows best, like, do you know what I mean?
I do remember Tarantino was interviewed by Barry Norman, the UK film critic, about, I hear you had some run-in with Oliver Stone, and he go, like, there was a fight, and Quentin Tarantino goes, oh, it wasn't a fight, it was an ass whooping. And I was like, Oliver Stone was in Vietnam. Like, you're you're some movie directing jackass. I really do think he's a genius, but I'm like, come on, like, you hardly just whipped his fucking ass.
Right.
Like,
I think it's important to bring it up now. Someone needs to stop putting microphones in front of Quentin Tarantino, because I'm telling you, the law, the pure mysticism that I viewed him in, is all but gone,
evaporated. Yeah, well,
it's like Jesus Christ. Like, I mean, it's our own podcast. Check it out if you haven't heard it. It's really good.
Yeah,
but even that's starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, I stick to the subject here and stop.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, like him and fucking Roger Avey. They've been on Joe Rogan too many times. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, Roger Avey had that thing with Eyes Wide Shut and all this. Yeah. When they're talking, when it comes to movies, impeccable. Well, you could argue with his taste.
I totally agree. Like, but it's all the other stuff. It's when you're talking about SAG and these actors and Paul Dano and It's just stop. It's just you're ruining the magic for me.
Yeah, to slightly defend him, because we talked about Bret Easton Ellis on the American Psycho.
That's the podcast he was on. He has
a thing about he really wanted people to go on there and be honest. And you know, like he talked about, he had James Van Der Beek on because Van Der Beek was in a movie of one of his books. And he said in private, he'd be fucking laying into things. And then on the podcast, he was very reserved. And I can see Tarantino hearing that and just being like a red rag to a bull. Like, oh, I'll fucking really tear strips off these people who are nowhere near as powerful in the industry as I am. Some of the backlash he got, I was like, come on, would you oh, this is a guy who just makes excuses so he can say the N-word in his films. And yeah, all right, yeah. You just criticize what he said, which is perfectly...
No, yeah, exactly. But Ethan Hawke on the Joe Rogan Experience had a really great point. And I thought that was because it was the only one that really acknowledged Paul Dano and the whole thing. He goes, Paul Dano, if nothing else, Paul Dano had no idea how many people loved him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's looking on the positives. I mean, it must suck. Like, I mean, if someone I admired, like Tarantino, whatever about him.
Like, I mean, how dare Tarantino
criticize someone's acting
up against arguably the best performance ever in There Will Be Blood. Paul Dano versus
Daniel Day-Lewis. Well, Day-Lewis now I'd have no argument. Look.
But you know what I mean? No. See, Jesus Christ, you thought I was saying Paul Dano. No. I wasn't saying that, but I'm saying it doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Against that performance.
Yeah. Well, some of the backlash was stupid, like, because he said if it was Austin Butler, and people were like, Austin Butler, he was 12 years old, and I'm like, yeah, well, he was 12. He means like hypothetically in another version of the movie. Yeah, look, well, actually, funny enough, people were criticizing him. Who is he to criticize people? He's such a shitty actor. In this movie, I think Tarantino is actually pretty good. And it's as good as he's ever been on screen, which is...
So the bar is not very high. Like.
Yeah, I'd never noticed until recently he is not particularly good in Pulp Fiction. He is kind of wooden. And then I think everyone in the cinema when we saw Django Unchained were just like, come on, man, what were you?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Like,
why the accent like?
It was a bizarre. He does seem to just lose the run of himself. So like when Zoe Bell showed up in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I was like, come on, man, what the fuck? Just get someone else in there.
Yeah.
She was okay in Django. I know
she's in Django as well.
Joey, she is enough. She was okay in Hateful Eight and she has dialogue, but there's maybe Australian accents kind of throw him off. No, she's the main actress, but Zoe Bell is in one of the flashbacks. She was the one who was driving the carriage. But yeah, and Once Upon a Time, I was like...
No, look, I mean, I'm not going to criticise him for having his stable of actors. Like, most directors do, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do understand, like, see, someone... And this is kind of like your Teddy Zygoff conversation with Kieran, because I can't remember for the life of me where or who said this. But it was something about Tarantino wanted to be an actor. He talks about sitting in the video store watching movies. He envisions himself being the guy in front of the camera. He never envisions himself.
Yeah, I think that was his
being behind the camera.
Yeah, dream. Yeah,
which is probably why he has such an issue with people like Paul Dano. Like, do you know what I mean? Because there are people who are given quite high praise for certain things that they do, and he's never been praised before.
Yeah, I do remember I saw him on when I used to watch like the Letterman show back in the 90s. He was interviewed and he was talking about bad reviews he got for being on Broadway, and he was like, oh, come on, like I must have, that's like I didn't sleep with your wife, man. And I was like, all right, maybe just take it and move on. And I do remember seeing something from Samuel L. Jackson. Like Samuel L. Jackson said in an interview, I'm pretty sure, something like, no one's got the guts to tell him the truth about his acting. I swear I saw Samuel Jackson. Maybe it's another one of my hallucinations or something. But
Ghosts in the Machine.
Yeah, as a direct, because the guy who plays the guy in the guy who plays Marvin in Pulp Fiction got his face blown off. I saw him. I heard him. I read a transcript of an interview he did where he said, as a human being, he's pretty obnoxious. Like, you'd be talking to him and he won't stop talking for an hour. But he said as a director, he is amazing. He said he's really present and he's really switched on and he's really listening to what you're doing. So you just have to balance it in your head. He's amazing at one thing and he has his issues. Let's say another. Like he should have considered, I think, Paul Dano and Matthew Lillard's feelings about like the biggest guy in Hollywood saying he thought they fucking sucked in public. But like, look, it's also his opinion.
But it's important that you pointed out that people who have very little power in comparison to him. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't imagine him sitting here and doing this again, going up against Bob De Niro or somebody who's on his level. essentially, like, because he wouldn't do that because he knows better. Do you know what I mean? It's more, it's very much a bully tactic. Like,
it was a bit,
I mean?
it didn't speak. I mean, you could say he's being honest, but I'm also like, well, you know.
Well, I mean, it's Paul Dano's not that bad. And Matthew Lillard is fantastic in Scream. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Well, I said this when Kieran was here, and I said, you can't say as someone in the 90s, I actually agree with you, and I always kind of liked Matthew, and he was brilliant in the Twin Peaks thing. He's genuinely just a great. It's not a Matthew Lillard performance; it's him. It's an acting performance. That, you know what I mean. But I was like, to live in the 90s, and if someone said I find him annoying, you kind of have to go, yo, I know what you mean. Like,
yeah. But that doesn't. Like,
but I kind of like that. He is great. He is great in Scream. The way he's like, I'll be right back. Fucking brilliant.
Brilliant.
Anyway,
we digress massively
to this film, which is From Dusk Till Dawn, which is a crime horror film from 1996, directed by Robert Rodriguez and written by Quentin Tarantino, starring George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino, Harvey Keitel, Juliette Lewis, and Salma Hayek, of which there'll be more later. The film follows outlaw brothers Seth and Richie Gecko as they flee to Mexico after a violent crime spree. After taking a family hostage to cross the border into Mexico, they seek refuge in a seedy bar called the Titty Twister, only to discover that it is a nest of vampires turning their escape into a brutal fight for survival. The film has a 7.2 rating on IMDb with a Metacritic critic score of 48% and a user score of 7.3. On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds a critic score of 66% and an audience score of 76%. From Dusk Till Dawn grossed approximately 59.3 million worldwide against a budget of around 19 million. And on a personal note, friends, speaking of vampires, why do you think those drawings of elites harvesting adrenochrome exist? Who survived the Titanic, Keith? Connect the dots. Look into it. More on that later. When did you first see From Dusk Till Dawn?
I would have been a teenager, so I would have been maybe, I want to say 15. Mm-hmm. And I can safely say that I had no idea.
Oh, you lucky fucker.
I'm telling you now. If I could go back to that moment, I would love to go back to that moment. But I didn't know. I didn't know what was about to happen. I'd heard that it's a Tarantino film. I knew of Robert Rodriguez. I'd seen El Mariachi. I'd seen... Was it just El Mariachi at this time?
Desperado. No, he'd done Desperado by this stage.
No, I'd say, but see, I can't remember if
I'd seen it. Maybe,
I'm not saying, but I'm not sure.
He hadn't done anything else unless you saw Road Racers or something. No. Luke Wilson is in.
Maybe I saw 4 Rounds. Did 4 Rounds come before this?
Yes, it did. Yeah,
then I'd seen 4 Rounds.
You sat through that fucking thing.
Yeah, not really, no, but I was in and out of it. But yeah, so I was aware of the two of them, and I was like, right, you've seen Pulp Fiction and you've seen Reservoir Dogs. They're class.
Yeah.
Let's see what he's like writing, because at this stage I hadn't seen True Romance yet.
Right.
And just to point out, just jumping straight in, this cold open is one of the best that I've seen in modern cinema in any way. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know how used the cold open was way back in the day or that, but comparing it to modern last 40 years. Yeah. Like it's just because I was not expecting George Clooney or Quentin Tarantino to pop up in the way they did. I was expecting maybe them, because if you notice, one thing I never noticed, you can see it if you walk when the Michael Park's character is walking in, the sheriff, you see them at the back of the shop. I never noticed that. It wasn't until I was rewatching it in this context that I went, hang on. Do you know what I mean?
I think the same thing happened to me. I'd never really looked for them or whatever. Yeah,
because that's and then it's almost like you're pointing out like a gaff or something, because it's just so cool. You just see it's just teenagers in a shop, so your brain automatically, when you're watching it outside of this context, just glazes over and goes, "Oh, they're just people in the shop." Yeah, the first time you're watching it, that's but I don't remember seeing them the first time I watched it. And then it's just a talk, and it's just textbook Tarantino dialogue between.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's very
Michael Parks and the other guy. Yeah, very un-PC a lot.
Yeah,
a lot of it. Yeah,
100%. But it's very textbook. Like, it's very, like, you'd almost say stock, but stock Tarantino dialogue is some of the best dialogue in the world. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
What's funny is because I read the script for this. A friend of mine sent it from, and it is. I think the version I was sent is just kind of like the continuity, or like it. There didn't seem to be much difference between it. But when you read your man Michael Parks' dialogue, I wonder what people process before they see the movies, because it just reads very like, I was doing this, and that's a fault of me.
But that's Michael Parks
imagining it. It totally, he adds so much to like,
because because he does play that kind of country monotone, I would say, which is a very different than monotone, if you know what I mean. Yeah, he has that real drawl, fucking laid back.
Drawl is the perfect word. Yeah,
and it's the same in Kill Bill. It's the same in everything that he's done with Tarantino, especially.
Yeah,
And it should just be, it should be like a heart rate monitor flatlining. But he brings just enough bass and just enough that it kind of keeps you interested. Like, and then what he's saying is just fucking vile. Like,
well, the way he draws it out, but he's like, then I'm puking up pigs in a fucking blanket. Is just his. I think that's actually his best performance with the Tarantino dialogue. He's brilliant, yeah. And Rodriguez wouldn't be someone I would normally think of as someone who spends a huge amount of time with the actors. He does seem to, because he's operating the camera, he seems to have his mind on other.
In this though, he edited and directed rather than doing everything like himself. Like.
Yeah, he well, what I found interesting was seeing another director do Tarantino's dialogue and someone like Rodriguez, because if Tarantino had done it, I think a bigger thing would have been made of, is this guy like a main character? Like the movie tends to read like Michael Fassbender in Inglourious Basterds. You're like, well, this guy's obviously going to be a huge character, and then he just kind of gets killed, like not in a throwaway kind of a way like this, but there's something about the way he does it. It's a little more throwaway than how Tarantino would do it, which I think it holds up very well on, and it doesn't draw attention to itself as like, it just seems like, oh, this is a great dialogue, as opposed to, oh, they're setting this up to be a huge shock that he gets killed or whatever. It's very kind of skillfully done, and I found it interesting. I think,
but one thing again, you say throwaway. I think that it's really just because once he uses the bathroom, Michael Park's character, George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino's characters,
Seth and Richie Gecko, the
Gecko brothers, appear. And it's very much just, let's just go in and shoot him in the back of the head. It's very much, they're willing to throw him away. Like, they don't give a shit who he is. Like, do you know what I mean? So why would I spend time?
There's a way of looking at it, and I was listening to the commentary, and the guy, John Hawkes is his name, the guy behind the counter, who's brilliant.
Yeah, he's great. Apparently he's great in everything. He's one of them actors. I know you and Kieran were talking about William Fichtner and stuff.
Yeah.
He's one of them. He's like, a lot of people, now I remember Fichtner through multiple different, like Prison Break and everything, right? So I didn't know him. But most people go, oh, jeez, he's great. What's his name?
It's that guy, when they show up, you're like, I'm in a safe pair of hands.
Exactly,
He apparently got the role because he was the only one who didn't play it as nervous. He just played, that's the effect they were going for, is this guy is just, it should just come out of nowhere, like you're just like, whoa, what the fuck? Whereas if he played it nervous, the audience would be like, oh wait, what's going on? Like I love the way he goes, what's the matter? Like just the intonation of it, but he didn't play the nervousness. He played it like something else, and he's just brilliant. Like, it's like, if I am scratching, because as an actor, it's like, okay, you're really in an intense situation. He's given like a lot of dialogue. I'm not saying I was scratching. If I was scratching, it's because it, and he says it, but he says it in a way that you're like, well, I believe that. Yeah. That's what the guy had said.
And in those days, which I thought was brilliant as well. And I really would like to think that it was a direction choice and not just a performance coming out of the actor. Because it makes so much sense, because we believe him. We already know. Don't believe your fucking brother. He's clearly off his rocker.
This guy, the way he's whispering in his ear and everything.
It's like, there's something not right about Tarantino's character here.
Yeah, he, again, and to credit to Tarantino, he's pretty good. Like, you believe him as this kind of creepy guy. Clooney in this, it was a very different side of him, like, where he, and it's difficult dialogue. Because
this is ER, George Clooney. Like, this is before like Batman and the heights of his career, like in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, actually, well, this is a Laserdisc, so it's contemporary to the time. And in the Laserdisc, they're like, oh, did you hear he just got cast as Batman? Like, wow, really?
Yeah.
He's really taken off.
I mentioned in my little spiel at the start, you see him really becoming an actor. And a real and a top billing actor in real time during this film.
Yeah, he really holds the movie.
Because there's at times, especially from the start, I've often found that there's almost an uncomfortability with the weight of the film on the shoulders, which kind of dissipates the more and more the film goes on.
Oh, interesting. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just was taken with it straight away. I think I knew him a bit from ER, because that show you kind of couldn't escape it in the 90s.
Back in the day,
I do remember it's on the behind the scenes or something. He found it difficult getting the words out, where he's like, "Your best to better get hell of a lot fucking better." And I remember seeing behind the scenes, you can see your one who's meant to be the hostage, because he's like, "Your best," and he's like, "Fuck," and he's like slamming the counter because he can't get the words out. And you're one of the backgrounds kind of like, "Oh, all right." Like, it must be weird when the big movie star is like, "Fucking," he can't get the fuck, because he'd be like, "Your best," fuck. It's like keep rolling. But he was putting in the effort. He's a serious guy, Clooney. Like he hasn't always been part of the best projects, maybe, but he wanted to do a movie like this, and you got to say fair play. Like this is not, they don't soften this character at all.
No.
He's not as quite as much of a creepy fucking bastard as Tarantino's character.
And it has to be that way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if they're both as bad as each other, we don't connect with the film and we just switch off.
Well, yeah, it is a real, like the guys on the commentary again, like you could tell Rodriguez and Tarantino, they were just like, how do we make a movie about badass motherfuckers and like where we kind of push people's buttons? Like they were not, anyone who kind of like, I mean, I know this is our stock and trade overanalyzing it. If you try and overanalyze it, you're missing the point. Like, just wanted to make a cool movie set in fucking Mexico with vampires and made about arseholes.
Yeah,
like which is what.
Now
gives
we get to the vampires thing because I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't know if that was always in the plans, and I do not believe that it was always in the plan.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So then we have, and I did like the detail of they were trying to push people's buttons. Like so, Parks comes back and Tarantino does just shoot him in the head. And there's a split second shot of him on the ground where he's kind of like his mouth is like like it's kind of like it's not funny or anything, you know. And then he just blasts away at him.
There's a sense. One thing, and I always think this of Rodriguez's work is that because I mean, you look at some of his work. This is going to sound ridiculous what I'm about to say, but. There's always a split moment. It's in Desperado. It's definitely in El Mariachi, where there's just a hint of, oh, shit's real here. Do you know what I mean?
Interesting.
And I noticed that with the Michael Parks, where he's like, just that moment where you go, oh.
Yeah, well, I was going to tie it to Tarantino because there's a similar bit in Inglourious Bastards where Eli Roth whacks the guy on the head with the baseball bat, and there's a shot at because that scene is just played as like, oh, these are actually. These are not guys you'd necessarily want to hang out with, like they're badass or whatever. But it was a very like that. Maybe it was the two of them kind of. Maybe he was inspired by Rodriguez. Who knows? I don't remember seeing that in the script that he was doing that. Do you know what I mean? It was an interesting choice. And then there's the kind of cool shootout where your man. And again, they did say they torture a man, they shoot the bottles out from behind, and we could argue whether that's really what happened if you just shot out some liquor bottles. But they torch poor John Hawkes. And when who
goes out like an absolute G.
Fair play.
I mean, if you're gonna go,
he did well. Yeah. Shame he missed. He shot him through the hand. Fair play.
Through the hand, which comes into play later.
Yeah, true. And but when he's dead, you can kind of hear popcorn cracking, which makes it a little bit kind of funny. So you're not just like. And then later as well, they played the little game of. Remember they had the shot of him in the TV thing where he's holding up a huge fish with a smile on his face. And you're like, all right, like the film isn't. It wants you to enjoy yourself, but at the same time, it's not mollycoddling you or making things easy on you. Like the guy wasn't like just an arsehole who was like, well, fuck him. Like these guys are worse, you know. But there's something kind of compelling about it. Then we get the opening title credits, which I always thought my friend had a CD in the 90s, like music from Quentin Tarantino movies. So I listened to that song a lot. Don't know, I can't remember who fucking sang it, but it's pretty cool. Like they get a real nice kind of southern part of the USA, Mexico border feel in the movie, like all the deserts and
this was the thing that I always like about this is like because this kind of had the yellow tinge before
it does
before Netflix, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
before Netflix, because I mean everybody who's seen a Netflix film knows that like Poland is blue, Mexico is yellow, and it's all done with ND filters and color grading. But I have a feeling here that there wasn't a whole lot of that added in post, like, do you know what I mean? This is probably just the lights that they had, and it was kind of just more of the actual feeling rather than.
That is my view of like, because as people who listen regular, work in a language school, and I try and tell people, like the students, my vision of like this would actually be something I could show them is like this is what I kind of imagine it might be like, or this is my stereotypical view of what Mexico
and then you see Mexico City, and we think we're up there with Grafton Street, like, do you know what I mean?
Well, that's the dichotomy of it is like because I showed them something from a movie called Extreme Prejudice, which makes this look like, you know, a socialist realist film in terms of the depiction of Mexico. And some of the students do kind of go, no. But some of them go, no, there's some, like this. And I tell you that movie, there's a scene where like it's a New Year's celebration or something. And there's just people walking through the streets with like bandoliers on and like shooting machine guns in the air. And they're like, oh no, there's some places. And I'm like, I don't fucking know anymore. I'm like, I would find Sicario more offensive if I were Mexican than something like this. But we'll maybe cross that bridge. So another point to bring up is so you see in the
person in the boot of the car.
Yeah, the person in the boot of the car who was
the trunk of the car for
who was
American
specifically chosen to fuck like with the audience and go, oh my god, this actually just looks like a poor
old woman,
sympathetic woman who's like, you know, middle aged and has kids, and they even say in the thing she has kids, and they were like,
what do you think? Because I mean, I know it's almost like a throwaway. It's more exposition for anything, right? So John Saxon is there for whatever reason.
Yeah, he was at a horror convention because they were presenting. This is what apparently, because again on the commentary they said they were at a horror convention presenting the movie, and John Saxon was there, and he was like, "Hey, do you need an FBI guy or anything?" And they were like, "Yeah," and that's how he got.
I have to be honest now. John Saxon in the very short scene he's in is brilliant.
Yeah, he's great.
He's very, very
taking
good,
it very seriously.
Yeah, like this is it. Like, and the little look that he gives the camera because he goes, "We've all made this, and we formed a dragnet, and it's all different things." And it's like, yeah, I think we are taking it personally.
Yeah, no, great actor.
And then he just looks down the camera, brilliant.
Yeah,
but it's ruined by whoever's niece that is.
Kelly Preston.
Kelly Preston.
That's John Travolta's wife.
No way.
Yeah.
Because because you're going up against the bleeding behemoth of a performance in John Saxon.
Yeah.
Against that, and it's just because she's that real. What film were me and Kieran doing over Christmas? Do you remember we were doing Jingle All the Way, and it was the parade announcers, you know, like the newscast.
Okay, yeah.
That's exactly what I thought when watching that.
She didn't bother me. She was going for that vibe of like the kind of shallow play, and they've the rolling tally of people who were killed and all this. And it's it was all just a provocation of like, here, let's fuck with people.
Yeah,
like, because the scene, it is, and again, it's kind of a disturbing scene where they show up in the motel and she's just like, what are you going? And even George Clooney's like, I said, plant yourself, plants don't talk. Like, he's not a nice guy.
No.
He isn't quite as bad as Tarantino.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just, it's perfectly weighted. Because if at one stage, because it's okay to tip the scales a little bit, but if at any stage the balance goes completely off and then all of a sudden, Clooney, you're like, ugh. And then all of a sudden Tarantino looks sympathetic. That it completely blows the rest of the film out of the water because it will not work. Us as an audience will not go on that journey. Do you know what I mean? So it has to be perfectly balanced because at the end of the day, in this scene that we're on, where she's very up, everybody feels for the woman and the thing, and it's like, oh, this guy is not nice. But then immediately after that, once he leaves, is come up and sit on the bed with me.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh no, come back.
Yeah, to slightly defend the character, like Clooney is just like, this is what I need from you, and if you don't do that, I'm not a nice guy. But like other than that, whereas Tarantino is just, he rapes and kills her for no reason. Like,
but immediately following this scene, or maybe it's after. No, actually, it's coming up. It's not right immediately after this, but because right now we're introduced to Harvey Keitel and his kids. But as soon as I remember this when I was 15, watching it for the first time. That's what I love about these kind of films that I saw mid-teens, because I remember them and I remember how I felt watching them. Like, it's not like something that I watched a bit too young, or
I know what
you know
mean,
what I mean. And I remember going, oh, come back, George. Come back.
Yeah.
Something bad is going to happen.
I know, yeah. Well, it is. And again, it's a provocation. It's just to kind of push it. Like, it doesn't do it's very well done, but it is just to be like, hey, isn't this a bit...
And because the thing is, and this is probably why it's probably Tarantino's best performance, is because you genuinely, if you actually just isolate it, it's like, he's like a fucking puppy inviting. You know, he's not playing it like creepy or anything. It's it's very subdued, and it's very, no, come on, just sit down and watch telly with me. Like,
no, he is legit.
I understand what you're going through. Come on and let's just break up the monotony.
He is legit, quite good, yeah. So then we're introduced, as said, Harvey Keitel, Juliette Lewis, who I was borderline in love with at the time. I was a big Juliette Lewis fan. And Ernest Liu, who doesn't seem to have really...
appeared in anything after this.
He doesn't really... He's done like a handful of things I've never heard of. He's quite good in this. He's very good in this, actually. I'd say he fits that right quite well. This is...
Sorry, but I'm jumping ahead a bit here, but just as you were talking about... When they first beat into Harvey Keitel's room, we go, what's this now? What are you, a bunch of fags or something? You know what I mean? And it's just like, that's very funny.
Yeah, well, that's like, that is what people, because that kind of thing now, if you put it in a movie, people criticize it for. I'm like, but he's a bad guy. Like, he wouldn't be
that's
fucking...
What, he's used to it. Excuse me, yeah. Go ahead.
No, what else would he say? Like, you can kind of say, oh, it's a bad, but like, fuck off.
Look, one of the best lines in The Departed is, I heard he was on a beach with a 15-year-old in Thailand.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? This isn't abnormal for.
No, well, that's how they speak. These people, because
Yeah.
they're rough around the edges. I'd say. I do like this scene. It's just kind of setting up the characters, and they say on the commentary again, and he just is such a great actor because Harvey Keitel is.
I think he's brilliant in this.
But like in real life at the time, he's in that movie Bad Lieutenant where he does one of his nudie roles in it. But when you really, he's absolutely jacked. He was someone who was obviously in the gym a lot, and he's a real like fucking swinging dick kind of a guy. And you wouldn't know a bit of that watching it. He's so subdued. And
he is definitely like a pastor. Like he's a
man who's taken a beating in life, and he's really great in this. And everyone's got. And then me and my brother, I always remember us laughing at the line. Although it says a lot about it isn't like in a bad laugh, let's say, but at the end where Julia goes, "What do you think Mama would say?" Mama's got nothing to say. She's dead. Like it's funny, but at the same time, he's not fucking around.
It's just being very fucking serious.
Yeah,
it's for probably.
Well, he's an angry guy.
You're dealing with a guy who's thinking, "Oh well, maybe none of this exists. Maybe everything I've dedicated my life to doesn't exist. So that's why she's dead.
Yeah,
is because she's gone. Yeah, that's it."
Well, what's nice about it is it's a great dialogue scene, Tarantino scene, but it isn't a Tarantino scene where it's like really drawn out. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I just mean as in the dialogue is great, the performances are very good, but it doesn't drag it doesn't space out like a Tarantino. Like in a Tarantino when you tend to go, wow, that's really great dialogue. Whereas in this, it's more functional. Now maybe that's also how he wrote it, because this was not something I think he took as seriously as he would something he knew he was going to direct or something like that. But it's great, like the way where he's talking about, I believe in God and Jesus, but do I love them? No. And it doesn't play games with the language like Tarantino often does, but it's still very, very good. So then we get back to the scene, and am I crazy? Like, I miss scenes being shot in an unusual way like this, because Clooney comes back, and then he notices, wait a minute, there's a great moment where he's like, where is she? He's like, who? He's like, what do you mean who? The fucking woman, the hostage.
No, but this goes to show again, he's actually... Not, I don't want to say a nice guy underneath it all, but the reason when he notices he's about to give her a burger.
He's going to give her a burger, yeah. There's just like...
A big Kahuna
and
burger.
tiny things, exactly. And the tiny things like that...
Just make it go, all right, he's better than him, so we have to be on his side. Your
subconscious, it was the red letter media thing. You didn't notice it, but your brain did. But I really like the way they shot the scene, and you don't see scenes like this anymore, where they're staring at something off screen that you don't really see. Now, there are flashes of it. And
it's only a frame, though. It's not.
I remember when because we had a little stop thing on I did actually watch it, and you could see like what he did was he obviously raped her, and then he put a pillow over her head and like shot at a bunch of like it's nasty stuff. But again, the way they filmed it, you don't need to see it at all. Like it's just them looking off screen.
But it's very well played, because I mean,
great, yeah.
Because you see George Clooney is like he's literally in shock. And then Jokic and Tarantino's going to like...
Oh, the way he goes, like, she turned into a completely different person. As in, like, hey, she's the bad guy. But then later on, you kind of go, is that actually what he thinks happened? Because he does seem to hallucinate.
He's obviously hallucinating.
He's really not right, yeah. But I just love... And then Clooney gives him the speech of like, I do not do this. Like, he's like,
this is not how it's done.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a criminal. I'm not a fucking, I don't rape women. I don't kill people. I don't have to. And it just does set up like, okay, he's just not as bad as the other guy, which is again not. But he's like still, he doesn't fucking turn him in or he doesn't kill him or anything like.
And then because that's it, because obviously Jordan the Keitel scene with his kids, they discuss, I need a bed. That's all. I just need a bed.
Yeah.
And then they arrive at the at the motel.
I love how Harvey Keitel sells that. Like you just get this, like I need a bed, a real bed, and you're like, you just go, right.
I get
Sounds
it.
right, yeah.
Because I mean, he does have beds in the joke, but anybody who's ever slept in a camper van or a caravan knows that they're not like
not the same thing. No. Yeah.
And even a motel bed would be better. But because that's what I was saying earlier on about immediately after this scene of where he's like, this is not how it's done, Richie. This is this. And then, but then you see him outside and he's looking at them like food. Yeah. In the front of the car. And
you know what he's thinking. He's like, I've just figured out.
Yeah, I'm going to rob you.
I've just solved my problem. Yeah.
And and again, it tips that scale. You go, But then it just takes the two Gecko brothers to enter the room and then your woman to go, would you eat my pussy for me? And then you go, no, he's the one to stay away from. Like,
oh, Jesus. Well, the whole thing is, again, they're just... In any other movie, and this is obviously the conceit, they're just the villains. Like, there's no question about it. They're horrible to him. It's like, how does that happen? You don't look Japanese. Like, I love it. He's like, he looks Chinese. Like, well, excuse me, all to hell. It's exactly what those guys would say. Now, a point to bring up here is, on the commentary again, now, Tarantino is from the USA. and he really wants to be an actor. And you hear a lot of talk. Kristen Stewart, is it? Was talking recently about method acting and how it's all, it's only men who do it, and it's kind of a thing to. She does have a point, I think. Now, I didn't see the interview, but I do remember Mickey Rourke had a quote where he said, Mickey Rourke has obviously got a macho streak in him. He said, the problem with acting is it's women's work. So you do wonder, are some of these guys overcompensating for like the fact that they're just actors, which is not to knock the profession. I'm talking from their point of view, like just actors. On the commentary, Tarantino was like, no, I'm not going to let Harvey dominate me in the scenes. It's not going to fucking happen, man. If he tries to fucking pull any shit on me, I'm going to fucking kill him, man. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man, would you fucking lighten up? Having said that, it is his best ever performance, and the dynamic does work. And Rodriguez was agreeing with him. Like, you can imagine a powerful screen presence like Harvey Keitel just overwhelming some. Like, I imagine myself, by some quirk of fate, I ended up having to do it. And I was like, hey, get down on the bed there. Hey, fuck you, buddy. Or whatever the fuck Harvey Keitel would say. But he was very serious about that dynamic had to work. And Harvey Keitel was obviously a large part of it, the way he played it. But the dynamic does work. You never get the feeling that they are in charge. You get the feeling now when they mention this again, the commentary. Harvey Keitel seems to always be biding his time.
Yeah,
he's not just capitulating.
Yeah.
But he seems to. But the dynamic does work. Like you get the feeling.
It seems like I'm going along with you until I figure out what I'm going to do.
Yeah, but it never seems again like he's secretly overpowering them or anything. Yeah, the dynamic works. Basically.
This is a bit of a trope of the genre, right? I suppose. But why do they need to do the whole? I need an ice bucket and I need you to turn around for me to then.
True. Yeah.
Like there's no need. Just open the door. Guns on him.
Good point. Yeah. Ultimately, I do like how Tarantino plays. Like, could I borrow yours? I'll bring it right back. Like he is so plausibly. Yeah. Like there's no wink into the Harvey Keitel character. It's kind of a wink to us. But I was like, I can kind of. And I love how Keitel plays it. Like he's just like, like he just woke up and he plays it fucking brilliantly. And I remember laughing at the Juliette Lewis bit where he's like. And there are close-ups of Tarantino later in the thing, and I think there's even one in this scene of her feet. Make of that what you will.
But that's again, it's just good direction because if you look at the back when all the action is going on in the foreground, you look at the background and Tarantino just staring at Juliette Lewis like.
Yeah, they were all. Look, you can. Whoops, hit the mic. Take a drink, everybody. You can criticize actor, and it does seem to be more of a US thing. Like they do seem to be kind of into this. We gotta fucking do this shit, man. But the proof's in the pudding. Like it's a good scene. Tarantino apparently didn't cross the line on this. I think if you're kind of brutalizing people or treating them poorly, you can argue that what the fuck, like it's just a movie. But if he had to be that serious about it, and it paid off. We're still talking about it 30 odd years later. What can you say? So then we get to. Again, just a nice kind of non-showy dialogue scene where they're in the motorhome on the way to Mexico.
Which is really good because I think it's... Because obviously you have the kids and Tarantino at the back and you have Clooney and Quentin at the front. And it creates this kind of... the adults are talking over here and all the children are down there type.
Yeah,
so it kind of gives you an extra... what's the word? An extra level of...
Well, there's kind of it's an interesting dynamic.
An extra layer,
to
Richie and Gordon's.
Yeah, it was a good choice.
Not Gordon Gekko.
Like what?
Gordon Gekko's from fucking Wall Street.
That's true. Yeah, geez, I hadn't put that together. Yeah, he's Richie.
Richie is Tarantino's Richie.
Yeah, and Seth is
George Clooney. Yeah, I was calling him. I got Gordon in the head because of the Wall Street.
Well, they're equally reptilian in their own way. No, it's a smart choice because I think it's kind of an obvious because you want them to have a proper conversation like George Clooney because they could, and then
they're the adults in the room.
What would Tarantino say to him? And then that is kind of shitty. The kind of. The subordinate's job looking after the kids kind of even though it doesn't really work out, but again you just get Clooney is just like, and you kind of believe him when he says I'll let you guys go if this goes, and he's like honestly, and he's like I wouldn't expect you to believe me, but I'm being straight with you. Whether he would have done it or not or what would have happened with Richie, he doesn't seem like someone who really plans ahead, which we'll talk about when we get to Titty Twist. This is a pretty decent plan to get over the border though, you have to say.
Arguably because again you have to look at this is what, 96?
Yeah.
Like this is before 9/11.
Yeah.
This is before Trump ever was a thing. Like
yeah.
the idea of porous borders and all wasn't really a big deal.
Well, going into Mexico is
easier than coming out. Like,
you would imagine there. I think now in the script, I remember them saying like they gave more how far they were from the border and stuff. So
but
I think
see, the problem is in the film they've kind of penciled themselves into the corner of it's all over the place. So even the federales and everybody knows that they're going to try and cross the border most likely. Like,
true, yeah.
So they're all on high alert. Like.
You would have thought, except for sending one or two fellas in and all this. But look, it is plausible enough, let's say. And we do get the great bit where Tarantino's just like, if you want me to, that thing you said back in the room,
I'll do it.
He's like, I'll do it. I have no problem. And you get the feeling like you don't sense that it's a joke that he doesn't want to say it, because it is like, well, I don't want to say what you said. And she's like, well, what did I? And she just kind of makes him, and he's just about to say it, and what she would have fucking made of it. And then, Clooney is like, Richie, because he knows something's up, he can see, and he's like, put in your bit. And he's like, I grind my teeth. It's such a weird little. They mention actually on the set.
I thought that was great though, a little character.
Yeah, well, they say
he's obviously the paternal.
Yeah, he's the, as you say, he's the adult in the room, compared to him. So they mentioned on the commentary that like all of them, when they were shooting that scene, apart from George Clooney, I think they all were like, oh, we all grind our teeth. They're obviously very driven kind of people, let's say. So then we get to the border crossing with the first appearance by Cheech Marin, I want to say.
Yes,
is that right? Yeah. Who I had always assumed was Mexican and a Spanish speaker, and apparently he is not. He's just completely Yankee or whatever the thing. Yeah, Cheech Marin, he apparently doesn't speak Spanish very well.
No way.
I remember looking it up because students were like, I've never fucking heard of this guy. And I was like, no, come on, he has to be like a famous Mexican comedian or something. I remember looking him up, and he didn't even speak Spanish very well.
From Texas, is he?
Yes, or Arizona or something. Okay, don't fucking hold me. He might even be just from LA or something like that. Don't fucking hold me to any of this. But I had just assumed he's Mexican or whatever. Maybe I'm ignorant and a bigot. Who knows? That's the only words for it. He plays this part fairly straight until a key moment. But again, I love how plausible it is that Tarantino is such a fucking idiot
that he can't keep his mouth shut.
He can't shut the fuck up. Yeah. And it's all just very plausibly done. Like he just kind of buy it. Like he's like, oh, you're calling me a nut? Was that nutty when I did this? And I'm like, yeah, I've met people like that. They're so fucking stupid. You're like, would you shut the fuck up?
It's great though, because he obviously Clooney then knocks him out. But it's a nice moment where Juliette Lewis goes, thank you. Yeah. But you can tell that. You can almost tell that because he couldn't ask that. Right, no, I get it.
Yeah, there's a great.
If that was a man who said thank you, he turned around and hit them as well. Like,
oh, probably.
You kind of got that feeling. Like,
there's a great, and Clooney kind of shakes it. There is a bit where, because I don't know, I can't remember if it was in the script, but Tarantino says he says the derogatory word about. Do you know what? Actually, I'll just say the word, and because I had a bunch of students, and I said, oh well, there's that slur word for Mexicans or Spanish speakers, and they were like, what is it? And I was like, come on, guys, don't make me say it. He says in the scene, he goes, fuck those spick pigs, man. And the Mexican students I had never heard that before.
Spick?
And I was like, that's a really fucking famous.
It just goes to show what middle-aged white women can make us feel.
Oh, I know, yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, they were like, we've never heard that. But when he says that, you can kind of see Juliette Lewis go like, oh, she kind of like half smirks, and I'm like, was that like an improv? And she's like, holy fuck, like what did this lunatic just say? He was like, and again, that is just something the character would say. He would not mince his fucking words about somebody who wasn't exactly the same race as him, let's say. And I, again, sound off in the comments, guys. I'm just telling you, I had a class full of Mexican students who had never heard Spick before. I
listened to, I don't know if you've heard of him, Mortal Technique.
No.
He's a rapper, right? But he's an underground. Now I don't know. Here's my bigotry. Now I don't know exactly what part of Latin America his family hailed from, but he used that word constantly. But he would have been American, born to like maybe Mexican or Puerto Rican or Honduran or whoever parents.
Yeah,
I don't know, but he'd use that word a lot. In his music, like.
I remember if I heard it just in real life, for want of a better term, and then in that movie, it's in a lot of movies, and it's in Day of the Dead. There's a character who like every character in that is just an arsehole, and there's a character who's like kind of Latin heritage, and they just call him the Spick and all that. And I just thought everyone fucking, geez, we're getting cancelled over this. But I do like then again, it's quite plausible.
Not in Mexico though.
No,
we might get cancelled.
No one's heard of it in fucking Mexico. They do know the other ones, which I won't go into, but. So
what are they, Seamus?
Sound off in the comments what do you think the other slurs for Mexicans are. So he knocks him out, and then the guy's like, come on, open up, we're coming aboard. And I do love it, just to go back to the conversation between Harvey Keitel and his son is really like very, again, he's like, I'm running the show. No, I watch those reality shows. They're going to fucking kill us. Just really well done. Very well acted. Very plausible. That the guy wouldn't necessarily have noticed that they were doing it. Very, like, the film is well thought out. Yeah.
Now, believe it or not, this was almost an RJ's lads moment, right? Because even back in the day, because there's just whatever way they frame the shot of Cheech Marin looking down on Juliette Lewis. Where the fuck are George Clooney or Tarantino possibly?
They do say in the commentary you would just see them.
It's too much. They've shown us too much of the shower.
They be in the. I think they have to show us that, or you'd just be like, he'd look in the shower. They did say on the commentary they would be like in the hallway with him, like, because there's so little space. I wouldn't say, but I just saw the sight of her on the jacks, and then just like close the fucking door, and then the way he's like, like he's making no attempt to hide the fact he's peeping at her. What the fuck? Look, it is a slight moment of implausibility.
Because of all things in this film to make you go, now hang on, now this is just not realistic.
I know, it's funny how you pick things out, isn't it? Actually, I saw a thing on that for Dune the other day where they're like, oh, there's there's this planet full of spice, and there's intergalactic travel, with no computers, and spice makes faster than light travel possible, and there's a character called Duncan Idaho. Hang on now. It is funny what fucking you pull out of it. So then they managed to cross the border. And I do like when Clooney comes out and he's like, God damn, that was intense. And he's just so happy. He's like, we're in fucking Mexico, you little piece of shit. Again, I just kind of like the way things are all played.
It's all very believable though. Because I mean, obviously, you can imagine, even if they're criminals, they're still human beings. Like the amount of pressure and stress that they would have been under for the last 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, like, and he actually just cannot believe that they made it over.
It's like a kid at Christmas. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, and then Tarantino wakes up and he's like, oh, what happened? He's like, oh, you just...
you broke your glasses.
Just passed out. Yeah. And again, Clooney does... I believe Clooney's character when he says, I'll just let you guys go. I'll just let you go when I don't need you. Call me fucking naive. So then we get to the titty twister.
And Cheech Marin quickly pops up again.
Yeah. Now, you didn't know where the film was going. So what did you make of the arrival at the titty twister?
I thought this was a bit... Well, watching it originally, because I'm like, this is just some cool, gritty gangster crime road trip almost movie.
This is in a weird way where the film takes its
really
first
takes
turn.
its left turn, So it starts taking the left into absurdity here, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, because your man is such... Now, there is something in me at the time. I didn't know a lot of Mexicans at the time when I was 15 years of age, like, do you know what I mean? I might have met one on holiday in Spain once, do you know what I mean? And so I was like, surely this isn't a personality trait of the Mexicans, like, do you know what I mean? Because everybody's just a caricature of themselves, like, do you know what I mean? It's not, there's nobody, all of a sudden they've kind of grounded in realism to a degree.
It's not
of all the characters.
It's not as out there as this
guy. What's some of it? Yellow pussy, brown pussy, white pussy, black pussy.
And it's all in English for some reason. Yeah. Which is fine.
Like, you mean, you see it, and then, because you're dead right, and I'm looking at it, and it's like, it reminded me of like a fun house in a carnival or something. It's like this kind of out there, over.
Yeah.
Everything is big, everything is exaggerated. And I kind of remember going, okay, this is it, but I remember thinking, this is going somewhere else.
Okay, but it didn't make you go,
it didn't make me, no, this is just ridiculous.
No,
but it did make me originally go, right, we're going, there's a tonal shift coming.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, it certainly is, yeah. No, because I remember, I knew well going in, because I remember just, there in the 90s, a lot of big movies were just for adults only, and you'd be like, I remember like they were like, oh no, in the first Terminator he's a goodie, and in the second one he's a baddie, because you couldn't see the fucking things. Yeah. So I saw a clip from it, and the clip was where Clooney has the thing, and he goes, okay, you vampire killers, this kill, and I was just whoa, what the fuck is that? Oh my god, it looks like the most amazing thing I've ever fucking seen. So I knew well going in where it was going, and it's on the Laserdisc. So the Laserdisc was split up into, the first side of it is 53 minutes, And they're not even at the fucking titty twister when the fucking thing changes over. It is like seriously like that last half an hour that it's a vampire movie. Which is great. That fantastic. Like, So we go.
And at least then, because I mean, if you completely lose interest in the film, you don't have that long to do it.
You know what I mean? You don't know what, So now this is where I kind of go, the guys seem to have impulse control issues because the whole plan is just stay there for a few hours, chill out, and then you're home free. And they assault a guy who clearly works at the fucking place, nearly leaving him for dead. Because why he wanted to, I guess he got the vibe these aren't truck drivers or something.
Yeah, but it's the introduction of ego almost. Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's like, how dare you talk to me like this? Do you know what I mean? We were told to come here. Like, we'll do what we want. We don't care. That type of thing. Like,
breaks his finger, punches him out, and then Tarantino, again proving that he's the bigger arsehole, goes over and kicks him when he's down. So when he goes and Clooney steps in, this is my kind of place, and it's
it's my kind of place as well.
My kind of place too. It seems all right. I'm reminded
I'm always reminded of like the kind of, because there's a lot of sweeping kind of tracking shots and stuff around here. And I'm like, get me to the titty twister. Like, someone in Benidorm open up a titty twister. I'm telling you now.
You'd make bank, And I think we're already in this, just kind of the setting up of the place. We're introduced to the Sex Machine character, Tom Savini, and the Fred Williamson character. And they don't do
What do I know Fred Williamson from? What's he in?
I don't know. He was in one or two blaxploitation films, one of which he was in one called Original Gangsters.
He's not in the original Assault and Precinct 13, is he?
No, that's another guy, Austin Stokes or something like that. I want to say, yeah, he is in. We've got Vigilante or something. I don't know. I forget where Tarantino knew him from. He was a kind of a blaxploitation actor. He's fucking great in this. He just has that look about him. And Tom Savini's great as well. He's more famous as a makeup effects guy, but he's very, very good. I don't know that he did any effects on this, but he must have.
He must have been
probably had some input or something.
Because Greg Nicotero's in this as well.
He's the guy he takes the drink off of. They were credited as... They weren't... Funny enough, I think credited as KNB. Maybe they hadn't started the company yet.
Because it's Nicotero something.
Again, at the time they were.
Anybody who doesn't know, Greg Nicotero created The Walking Dead. But basically, some of the best practical effects ever in the past 30 years.
He worked on Evil Dead 2
and he pops up in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, you'd imagine they're still working a lot, but like they were nearly celebrities unto themselves at the time, like Tom Savini was as well. So then we're introduced behind the bar to Danny Trejo, who doesn't want to serve them in a very cool way, I thought, where he takes. And again, Harvey Keitel... George Clooney's just about to fuck everything up. Go out and fucking chill out in the RV, like, gee, and it would have saved you a lot of trouble. Harvey Keitel
you could party. You could say, listen, right, we can't drink in this establishment. Give us a bottle, we'll sit out in the RV.
Or something like, just pull out money and be like, here, they've got money to fucking burn. But no, he's offended, the ego thing. And Harvey Keitel steps in and he's like, very plausibly, I have a truck driver's license. I'm a truck driver. These are my... And I love the editing there. Rodriguez is good at that kind of editing where it keeps cutting back to the band and it kind of adds to that. It's like, you need to be a truck driver. And I am a truck driver. It's like, nice. Gives it a nice kind of pace and rhythm. And I like Danny Trejo. He just kind of goes, welcome to the titty twister. I don't know. There's something very plausible. He's just like, all right, well, fair enough.
And then, because it's funny how he just completely changes then because... Clooney goes, you serve food, best in Mexico. And he goes, somehow I doubt it. And he just gets so offended by it.
You can see he's not happy about that, And then,
to be fair, you can tell by the establishment you would not be eating there, like, you know what I mean? You might be eating something.
I would have my doubts how good,
you might
I'd only drink the bottled beer, I don't know how good the Guinness would be there. But like, just in case anyone hasn't seen it, we're underselling it. There's all these topless dances. It just looks like...
It looks like a carnival for debauched men.
Yeah, gothic Mexican kind of a style.
It's amazing.
It's really cool. Like, it's really...
Think of the fun houses you bring your children to, except it's full of all the stuff that your search history has.
So then we have another great little dialogue scene at the table where George Clooney is getting madder and madder and trying to get them all to drink, and he's like, I'm gonna go bust this over his melon fucking head.
We forgot the big meaty guy.
Who I don't know his name, but
he's very good.
He is.
He has that great face. Look. He has that real fucking you won't mess with him type of face.
He has that great look. So Harvey Keitel says, "Are you such a loser? You can't tell when you've won." Again, he's lucky now it's Clooney because Clooney's a little more like. What did you say?
No, because this is it. Because he's trying to force feed them alcohol, and he's like, "I'm not drinking with you." And then that's when that really kicks off about you don't know when you've won, and that's when he goes, I insist you drink me. I have a newfound respect for you.
Yeah.
Fair play to you for calling it like it is. You're right.
That's
Do you know what I mean?
That's why he is the redeemable one, Clooney. Like, whereas Tarantino, he wouldn't have gone there. And I just have to remember, I was watching this. My cousins down in Galway, who I watched a lot of movies around this time with, we were watching it, and at West, and although they don't do the thing for whatever reason, when Juliette Lewis is like, they go, here, have another, and she goes, yes, I'll have another one, thank. And I remember my cousin very distinctly going, Jesus, she's flutered already. Which is how she plays it. She plays it as if she's already kind of tipsy.
Yeah.
But I just, again, it's Quentin Tarantino dialogue, but not done in the typical way of like it kind of being dry. It's just, and it supports it well. Like there was some talk like if Reservoir Dogs or whatever had flopped, he'd still be like a really great screenwriter who would have had a really great career anyway. Like I think we're fortunate how things turned out. I do think he's great. He has some personal issues aside, let's say. Then we're introduced to the Salma Hayek bit. Now, what is there to say?
Wait, listen, we were talking about getting cancelled for using Mexican slur words earlier on. We will certainly potentially get cancelled
if we were to say the thoughts running through our minds.
If we do 15 minutes on Salma Hayek and From Dusk Till Dawn, I think, you know what I mean?
Suffice it to say,
she looks great.
She's a very attractive woman who does not look appreciably different 30 years later. So if it's adrenochrome, guys, isn't there something to be said for the whole, for that whole thing? Amazing. I remember reading that she's scared of snakes. They had said Madonna was going to do it to kind of force her to do it because she was like, I don't think I will. And then like, oh, well, we have Madonna. Like, oh, okay, fuck it, I'll do it. And it's apparently all in. I remember reading with Rodriguez, it's all in the editing because it is, very well. It's well edited. It does seem like
I listen to a couple of podcasts now with Rodriguez on who hasn't actually. I'm actually more endeared to him now than comparatively to listening to Tarantino on podcasts. You know what I mean? Because he really is just a nuts, but he loves the craft. Do you know what I mean?
True, yeah.
Whereas I think Tarantino loves himself. Do you know what I mean? That's the way. Look, I love Tarantino. You won't hear me say a bad word about pretty much anything he's done, but you can tell the personality difference between him and Rodriguez. Like it's stark. But you hear them talking about when I'm writing something, I'm already editing. When I'm blocking a shot, I'm already going right. Where's the cut? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why he believes that all directors, all filmmakers need to be able to do everything. Because if you don't understand how it's going to work, you don't know how the finished product is going to.
That does fit in with the theory I have, which is with all writer directors, they're usually more one than the other. And I do think now Tarantino, especially now, has become an absolutely great director. But you can tell he's more of a writer than a director. Whereas now he doesn't write or direct that much. But Spielberg, the one or two things he's written and directed, you can tell, no, this guy's more of a director. Like he writes things in order to direct them. Whereas Tarantino just writes things and then later on he directs them. And it's not to knock anyone's ability in any one area, but you can kind of just see where their creative energies are going at any given moment.
Yeah.
And I can see like Rodriguez now be way more of a director than a writer. He has written and directed good, and I really like Desperado.
Yeah.
But you can tell like this is a director.
Just I mean, for anybody who isn't aware, like, so there's a book called what's the book called?
Oh, the Filmmaker's Handbook. It was
something
that
like
he
that,
wrote, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was a diary thing.
Yeah, it was like it's the film what's the word?
His debut, like
debut?
Mariachi.
El Mariachi, right? So which is part of the Mexican trilogy, the Desperado, and then Once Upon a Time in Mexico. But he shot that for $7,000, and he did everything himself. He did sound, camera, editing, direction, everything himself.
And it is, it's a little bit of, you have to give it a bit of a handicap, but it is still good. Like for
it's
what
still
it is.
plausibly good.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? And was it El Mariachi or was it Desperado that created the walking away exploding shot?
Oh, that would have been Desperado. Yeah, he does do them very well.
Yeah.
Well, when you've Antonio Banderas, it's kind of hard to do it.
But that shot of two people or one person walking away from an explosion and not reacting to it, that's from Robert Rodriguez. He created that. Do you know what I mean? Oh, yeah.
Well,
it wasn't done before.
That is a great shot. Well, again, when you put Antonio Banderas in front of a camera, it's kind of hard to go wrong. But no, he's very inconsistent, I would say, Rodriguez. I don't know that I've liked, or I haven't seen even a lot of his stuff recently, but he is a bit hit or miss. But like, look, I have a lot of respect for him.
I love Sin City.
Yeah.
You won't hear me saying, maybe we'll have more of a discussion on Rodriguez towards the end.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl and so on. So we get that, and then it has been pointed out that Quentin Tarantino wrote the script and would have obviously, said, I want to play this character. And the scene does end with Salma Hayek putting her foot in his mouth and pouring beer down her foot into it. Who knows? Maybe he had a good day on set that day. And, I couldn't possibly read anything more into that.
No,
I don't know. I did like, there is a shot of Juliette Lewis during that whole bit where you can tell she's kind of like, oh, what the fuck? Like, come on, like, what's the big deal? Because all the rest of them are like these fucking horny bikers and truckers and all this. And I do love how it's a real showstopper, like this thing. And apparently, just to bring it up, Rodriguez said, I just wanted to leave the script be your thing, Quentin, because he said it probably should be Santanica, Pandemonium, and it's Santanico, but because it's the male-female thing or whatever, he said, I just decided I'll leave it. And he is completely Texan, apparently, Robert, because again, I brought it up in class once, and they were all like, no, he's not fucking Mexican. I was like, well, you have to forgive me for making the mistake, because he made El Mariachi completely in Mexico. So now he does seem to speak Spanish, like I'd imagine, like fluently and all this, but he is a Texan. I guess again, it's probably a weird thing. Some of my
favourite Mexican food isn't Mexican whatsoever. Like, do you know what I mean?
Burritos are Tex-Mex.
Tex-Mex, yeah.
But then, surely, Keith, you don't subscribe to the colonialist notion that Texas is actually a part of the USA, do you? That's a real deep cut. You thought I wasn't fucking revolutionary enough? Well, I don't even accept it. No, remember, forget the Alamo. This is the one thing we'll fucking get reamed about now, because
I remember the Irish immigrants that had to fight, that were forced to fight on the American side in the Mexican-American War, yeah.
Oh, and we brought this up before.
And we switched sides to the Mexican side.
So as an Irishman, I don't accept that.
No.
That whole part. Moving right along. So then we're moments away from where the film really takes its turn, and the bit that I would have loved to see cold. So the guy is rather logically, they just got the shit beaten out of them and they work there. They're like, Cheech Marin comes in and he's like, these are the fucking guys who beat the shit out of me. And he uses the term that also refers to a bundle of sticks to Tarantino. And so Tarantino gets stabbed almost exactly where the hole in his hand was, which I always thought was a nice touch. He stabs the guy a bunch of times.
But this is something that I'd never noticed until I don't know if it was specifically this time, but definitely recent watches. Is I never noticed the kind of pull in on Salma Hayek's face, and she's like,
oh really? You didn't know?
Originally, I never noticed that.
That's interesting, because I always knew they were vampires, and I don't remember specifically noticing it, but it didn't strike at me as something I didn't notice.
Because looking at it now, it's fucking obvious. Do you know what I mean? Like she's literally like licking her lips, like, do you know what I mean? And it's like. But originally didn't even like.
Interesting.
And I'm telling you now, as a 15-year-old, I'd have been looking at her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't have missed her anyway.
No.
Well, there's what I find again interesting, just from what were they thinking? So Richie stabs the guy, and then Seth is like shoots the guy, and he's just like, everyone stay where you are, you're going to be just as dead as he's. And I'm like, what is the plan here? Like, to keep people at gunpoint for 6 hours?
Yeah.
They're just fucking idiots, like, are they violent,
definitely, they're very much just shoot now, we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We'll play it by ear. It's been working out for them to be.
Yeah, so what happens then after he's stabbed? I never noticed Salma Hayek. Like, and then she just literally morphs into a fucking vampire.
She morphs into. Juliette Lewis tries to warn Quentin Tarantino, which again I thought was kind of like a speaking to some kind of the bond between them or whatever, which is kind of an interesting thing. Like, why she would feel, although he didn't do anything directly to her.
What's it like? The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
I guess so, yeah.
Like, we're all in this situation together.
It is
now,
something to bring up, like, because the film is quite clever. They never have a moment where people are like, what just happened? Now there's a huge,
because it moves too quick.
We're kind of skipping a bit here, but like, I don't think the film would support any of that kind of shit. Like, Clooney, when the attack is over, which we'll talk about, just goes, these are vampires. Don't tell me that it's not vampires, because I don't believe in them, but I know what I saw. And I'm like, what else do you need?
Well, because I mean, That's the way to do it. If you're gonna have such, for the want of a better way to say it, a rug pull. Essentially, it's not because it's not a left turn; it's a fucking rug pull. It's a gut punch. It's completely off kilter.
That's part of that's what the game the film is playing. Like it is just fucking with you. Like the bank teller they kidnapped is a certain kind of woman just to fuck with you. It's about complete arseholes because isn't that more interesting? It's not some this isn't some pussy ass film, man. It is about like attacking your sensibilities, which is great.
But see, the thing is, if it does not give you, if it gives you a chance to breathe for the next 5 minutes, it runs the massive risk of you going,
wait, hang on a minute.
Which is exactly what happened with Mandy when she watched it.
Really?
She did not. She was straight onto her phone as soon as Salma Hayek turned to the room. Yeah, she was like,
that'd be when I think all the men in the audience are sitting up in their seats. Fuck me.
No, as soon as she turned to a vampire, she was like, no, I don't like this anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Fascinating. Because that would have been the thing.
She would have saw this cold the way this week, the way I would have.
Okay. Well, it does kind of remind me of like a movie like, say, in a weird way, Pineapple Express or something. It just struck, or what's that movie? This Is the End, and it just struck me as like, it'd be cool, man, if you made like a movie where like for like 90 minutes it's just like one movie and it turns into a vampire movie. And because you're Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez in the mid-90s, someone's like, okay, fair enough. Right, we'll just give it the money to make it.
Now, I'm sure you found different reasons as to the writing of this film and stuff, but I cannot help, and I've heard Rodriguez and Tarantino say varying degrees of different things and varying degrees of the same thing. I can't imagine this was anything but I have no idea how to get them out of the titty twister. Do you know what? Vampires.
I heard that originally what was it? What the fuck? KMB. It wasn't Nicotero, it was the other guy. What's the K's name in KMB? Kurtzman?
Nils.
Jeez, I'm blank. Nicotero, was it actually just Nicotero who was going to do it? The script was essentially written for him to direct, and it was going to be... Now, this maybe comes into, I think, where on a rewatch, I was like, because I'd remember it as being like an action film. And as an action film, I think there's a lot to critique it for where it goes from here. But when I was rewatching, I go, it's actually not an action film. It's a gag movie, which I mean by like all the individual, it's set up so it can be like, hey, what if a guy got killed like this? What if a guy got killed like this? What if a guy so I find that very plausible that it was set up as that. And then in the writing, he was like, hey man, it'd be really cool if I did it like this. I could be completely talking out my hoop, but there is a thing on YouTube. It was like a test reel shot for the film where the guy, I feel terrible. Joe Pilato, sorry, the MVP from Day of the Dead. It plays like Seth Gecko in it, and it's really just like it's like a demo reel for it. There's no gags in it. There's no vampires in it. It's just like kind of going over all the weapons that they use ultimately. And he is dressed like a Quentin Tarantino criminal in it. So it was where it originally generated from. I don't know, but I find the thing it was written for like a makeup effects guy to direct. I find that pretty plausible. But again, it does show up in the final film where at the time now I was just like, oh my fucking God, this is amazing. But watching it now, I'm like, wait a minute, there's meant to be like 200 vampires in here. What the fuck? Because they only seem to be fighting like 2 at a time and then just them randomly running in the background, which doesn't bother me because it is a ridiculous movie.
But see, the thing is though, because it does point, the thing, I know exactly what you're saying because I remember thinking even at the time, after I'd kind of calmed down of the initial, what is going on here? Like, because I was locked in. I was oh my God, this is the best film ever. You know what I mean? And but you do see enough other people that aren't Tom Savini or what's
in the initial run of it, Fred Williamson.
So you see enough normal people other than them to make it sense that they're all fighting somebody off camera somewhere.
That one is fine actually. That's the best one of there's kind of like 3 individual bits where they're fighting kind of bit. Again, like it's not to say I watching like actually a friend of mine who loved it at the time, he did say he saw it recently and he was like, fuck me, this is terrible. I was like, no, I wouldn't go that far.
No.
But like there's a few great gags, like the guy who gets like he's like and he gets like his throat cut, and the way the band suddenly start playing instruments made out of people. where the fuck did that come from? That's a bit weird. It's great though. It's just a fucking laugh. Like it's not meant to be taken seriously.
Like literally, because like I said that the anybody who listens to this regularly will know that I often talk about the Jesus lads moment. Now this is an Jesus lads moment if ever there was one, but it happens and it keeps you locked in. Do you know what I mean? For me, No, because I mean, like I said, I've experienced watching this where people go, "Ugh, I'm all of a sudden not interested anymore." But if you just literally just go, "Okay, that was that film. This is something different now," and lock in on that, it's just great.
Yeah, well, if you get on the level of like it is just kind of fucking with you and it's having a bit of crack with you, which I'm very happy to do.
Even that kind of winking at the camera and I will make you feel this way is gone now. It's literally just It's have some fun here.
It's hell for leather. Like, They are all, they're very funny, the gags, and the way like your man gets to use the dick gun.
Because it's like a 15, because this is what it is here. It's like a 15-minute brawl. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it almost leads up to the point where Tom Savini gets bitten. Do you know what I mean? Which
basically, that is very funny, that whole thing. Yeah. So it's a great, that bit is great because again, as you say, like, because there's so many of them, it's kind of more plausible. But, and there's great little things where Fred Williamson, he drops them all onto the legs of it. They seem to figure out, and I've no problem with this, they figure out very quickly, this how you kill them. All right, these are vampires.
Well, see, the thing is, if you were a 10-year-old in this situation, in modernity, you would know, okay, right, stake through the heart. Like, it's not like...
Yeah, well, they don't ever go... They actually, no, we'll talk about where they slightly go meta with it. But one of the bits now during this where, again, I might just say, this is a gag horror movie as opposed to, so the bit where Tom Savini, who I think he was fairly old, he was like in his 50s or something, he's an older guy now, Tom Savini, he's like leaping over all the pool tables, and I was like, all right, he's moving a little slowly, they would have caught him. But the point isn't him being acrobatic, the point is he kills the guy on the pool table and all the pool balls go into the holes. Like, that's what the movie's really getting at. It's not meant to be like a Jackie Chan film or whatever. Once you kind of accept that, which I think subconsciously I always kind of did, I was like, what the fuck, like. So the initial run of it is over.
Tom Savini is a character called Sex Machine. He has a fucking gun on his belt,
which they get to use.
Yes. So I mean, if you're going into this thinking, oh my god, I want to see some realistic fighting there, like, and
when he reveals that is a moment where you are like, all right, the film is pushing even further. Like, there's this bar called the Twitty, and then where the bullets from the fucking things on the sides go into the barrel, who the fuck cares? But that initial run of it is over, where so there's our main characters, and then basically Sex Machine and Fred Williamson left, and they have where the movie kind of dabbles in, like, you know, Scream, like postmodernism or whatever, but I don't see it that way, like where they're like, with garlic and sunlight, and like there's a Harvey Keitel, maybe it's just because the acting's so good, but Harvey Keitel's like, well, has anyone here ever read a real book about vampires, or are we just going on what some movie said? And Sex Machine is like, like a time life. And there's a bit where he goes, we've got crosses, we do this, and Tom Savini goes, oh yeah, Peter Cushing did that all day.
Yeah.
And it just seems like, it doesn't seem like the movie winking, hey, we know they're in a movie. It just seems like these guys might actually have this conversation because they're in the shits. And there's that moment where he's like, silver's something to do with vampires. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure. And Jill, do you have any silver? Well, then who cares? Like, nice, very nicely dealt with. Then they go around killing all the people who are about to turn. And I do like how Tom Savini's character goes, oh, these guys are all mushy. I bet you'd punch one of their heads clean off. And I think, I don't know, he seems to be saying, like, I just noticed this. But like for the film, it's kind of important because, like, Julia Lewis stabs a guy with like a blunt piece of wood. Well, how the fuck would that work? But just for the plausibility of the film, I just thought it was a nice touch to have that in there, where he kind of gotten away with it. He gets bitten, and he does one of the best, I'm the arsehole who's not going to tell everyone I've been bitten things. I just love the way he plays it. It is. And the way Fred Williamson's given the big, like the ultimate Vietnam horror story speech. Holy fuck. Like, he's like, a grenade blew up right beside me. That's why I'm so pretty. Woo. And then he kills an entire VC squadron, and he's like miming in the background as Tom Savini's changing. He's miming killing like every one of them.
And it's almost slapsticky kind of like.
It is, yeah.
He's like,
And the way, he puts his hand behind his back, and Ernest Lou looks over at him. It's like, all right, anyway. It is just very, very funny. And you needed that so the guys can kind of break in. But I do like that is we're really underselling him and Fred Williamson now. Like what an impact they make in the scene.
Because they're playing, they're just hilarity. Like, do you know what I mean? I know, they own, like.
Yeah. Now, what do you think? Do you think it's what's weird is that enough of them survived? Because if the titty twister is in constant operation, this has to be an unusual thing that happens. From dusk till dawn. But like, how often do you think they get a huge number of vampires killed in this operation? You know what I mean? Like that did make me, well, they killed all the strippers. The band just blew themselves up. I was like, what the fuck? I always
took that they were transporting themselves somewhere else.
I just took it as like, oh, that was a bit weird. Like when Quentin Tarantino changes from like the proper makeup to just like the fangs. I think that's supposed to be.
I think that's just.
I think that's how George Clooney sees him. Yeah. I always just took it as supernatural. Like he just changed.
Yeah, no, I always took that as even in the eyes of his brother, he's a fucking vampire. He has to die. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I always took that.
Yeah, where people might give a shit. We skipped over that a bit where he gets killed. Yeah, he gets killed, and the bit where Clooney killed Salma Hayek, which was in all the trailers. Like, no thanks, I already had a wife. Which I keep hearing was an improv that they just left in. I don't know. Yeah. He needed a line before he shot
it's not great.
Like, it was okay. Right. Yeah. She did seem to be very laissez-faire about fucking just killing him or whatever. But anyway, although being her slave doesn't seem. Anyway, so then Sex Machine changes and he bites Fred Williamson, who then rips his heart out. And no, he doesn't. He does that to another fella, and then he throws him through the boards. And the bats have been outside the whole time. I did like that how Clooney had kind of figured it out. They're like, "What's that noise?" They're like, bats. "It's bats."
Yeah,
he's just like, I've seen some shit in my life. It's bats because these are vampires. I'm like, all right, I buy that.
And I love how quick. Do you know what I always notice as well? Because you could be forgiven for going, well, how come? Where's the consistency with how quick they turn?
Yeah,
but Tom Savini gets bit in the arm. Yoke gets bit in the neck. He turns almost immediately. Fred Williamson. Yeah. But if you notice that throughout, the ones who get bit in the neck, there's no hope. Do you know what I mean? But if the ones who get bit elsewhere, like even
because Harvey Keitel gets bit in the arm,
and and then he has X amount of time before he turns. Do you know what I mean?
Which was fine. Yeah, look again, the movie.
But I love that shot. I do, because I mean it could probably be done better in the modern age. But I do love the shot where
some of the CGI
he throws him out. Yeah, he throws him out the window, and then he turns back and he's already turned.
And he's the arm spread and all the bats coming in. Yeah, like 50,000 bats come in and you're like, geez, that place would be fucking packed to the rack. But they all show up and they beat a hasty retreat. Harvey Keitel gets bitten. They all kind of make their way into like a back room. And Harvey Keitel has survived. And he very handily finds a shotgun that has a thing that he can put the baseball bat through. That is just a great scene, though, the standoff between. And he's just, when you get an actor like that, like they're just worth their fucking weight in gold.
He was not just following this in either, like, do you know what I mean? He's there, he's present.
He's dead serious about it, yeah. There's a behind the scenes documentary on this called Full Tilt Boogie. I don't know if you ever saw it. I've never seen it, no. It is a bit of a waste of time if you're interested in like what were they thinking about, because it's one of these real like obsessed with like the crew life kind of a things. But it is on the screen where they said, we wanted to interview Harvey Keitel for this, but he said he was contracted to film From Dusk Till Dawn and not our movie. But Tarantino interviewed him. So there is like he does seem to be kind of a serious kind of a guy, Keitel, but when you're that good of an actor, maybe that's just part of the parcel of it. He makes his way back to Clooney and the two kids, and they're like, right, they're gonna break down that door anyway. Let's just go out there and fuck them up. I'm like, yeah, cool. Now, this is what I mean when I think it's a gag movie. So I think your man Scott, Ernest Lou, has by far the best idea. He gets holy water in condoms, which I don't know how well they'd break. Just get water bombs, mate. And
we've all been there before.
And a super soaker full of holy water. And I would say he is the best chance out of anyone. Juliette Lewis has a pump action crossbow, which is really badass. Now, George Clooney has a pneumatic drill with a stake on it.
Now, this yoke...
That's just a liability. It's amazing. Like, it's so cool.
And do you know what? Do you know what the only poxy thing is? I can't. Geez, maybe I'm wrong now, but nothing ever sticks out to me where he actually he might jab it into one person, like, and that's it.
He doesn't get much use.
It's a lot of shit. It's a lot of waving it around in front of him.
It
like,
is very,
I mean?
very cool. Like, and then they do the thing where he puts the crosses in the bullets. I always took that as being a cross. That's also a thing that makes a dum-dum bullet, which like explodes in there or something like. I don't know. It's against the Geneva Convention, which we know countries are very attentive to.
Sovereignty.
And so it's all very well and good. And then they've that, again, just a nice logical scene for the story where Harvey Keitel's like, you're going to have to kill me when I turn. And they make a big, cool, dramatic scene out of it, I thought. I love Harvey Keitel where he's like, I'm going to kill myself on the count of 5. And he's like, 1, 2, 3. And he's just, I'm like, he's forcing her. He doesn't just play it like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to count. He's playing like the effect of, you fucking say yes. He's saying the words, but just a great actor. Like, and like again, how his son is like, you don't believe in suicide. It's not suicide if you're already dead too. Like, nice. Just
very well done.
Like, look, you can say, I can see people being like, all right, the movie took a fucking turn. But if you're on the movie's terms, just great stuff. Like, and then we get that was the scene I saw in the preview of Clooney going, all right, you vampire killers has killed some fucking vampires. Fuck, I almost forgot to mention, the first time I ever saw this, the parents were out. And I was like, I can't fucking watch this because it was on Sky Movies. So I was like, I'm going to record this because I fucking want to rewatch this. But they came back, and I remember right at the time when he drove the stake into Quentin Tarantino's heart. So for months, the only version I saw ended when his skull landed on the ground. Like, that's where I stopped recording because the parents came back because they were like, they knew who Tarantino was, and they didn't want me watching that kind of nonsense. And like, they would have turned this shit off. I would have gotten in big trouble. So for years, like the last 30 minutes, I was like, oh, this is like deleted scenes almost. As far as I was concerned, it ended there. So then out they go, and this is what I mean now with this scene. If you watch it very critically, you'd be like, well, hang on now, how many of these? Because they didn't have many of the full vampire suits or something. And it is just about how cool it is that the individual kills, like where he drills into your one.
Or he throws the condom and then half his face.
Half the face.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like.
It's just cool.
And look, and because I mean, at this point in the film, we've had have we passed over the, if these guys are vampires and they're from hell, well then it has to be a god. That has to be a heaven.
Yeah. Oh, we did skip over the bit where he has to tell him, you're a fucking, are you a faithless pastor, or are you a mean motherfucking servant of God? And I believe in the script he said, I'm a mean motherfucking servant of God, but because it's Harvey Keitel, he's like, I'm a mean servant of God. And the way he says servant of God, I'm like, nice. Now we got to fucking pray. Interestingly, the Christian religion is completely true in the From Dusk Till Dawn universe. Just so we all know, guys, there's no arguing with that. It's just great. And then how they all just kind of get, so Jacob just turns.
I never noticed that.
It is specifically Christianity, that's true. Jacob turns and he bites Scott, who then kind of smashes the condom on his head, and then he has to shoot him. For some reason they gave Scott the handgun, or did someone? No, Juliette Lewis had it, I think, and she dropped it. Yeah. So he picks it up and he has to kill him, and he's like, I swear to God and Jesus. He does that a lot in the movie Rodriguez, where he'll jump on a cut in the middle of a line. So I swear to God in Jesus Christ's name, and it cuts like right in the middle. Boom, and he blows him up. Then he gets like 5 vampires come along and start eating him.
Yeah, and just shoot him. Come on, Juliette Lewis.
No, he drops the gun and Juliette Lewis picks it up. She does like a little roll or something, but then she shoots one bullet and like they all explode. I'm just like, look, I'm going with it at this stage. What the fuck? Like, who gives a shit?
Nah, but I always, because he has to keep saying to her, kill me.
I know, fucking the poor guy, like, Jesus Christ, the poor bastard, like. So then it ends up just her and George Clooney, and their vampires and it's quite cleverly done. I thought you were like, geez, they're fucked, and then you're like, oh yeah, the daylight thing starts to poke through.
And not only that, but I do like the line where Clooney goes, or Juliette Lewis says, well, I saved the last bullets for us. And he goes, hell no, you saved them for any motherfucker who's coming at you biting you. Yeah. Deadly. That speaks to the character. Because he does not want to die. No, we're not fucking. No.
Not playing that game. So they're all.
Did you hear what I just said? If there's a heaven, there's a hell, and I'm going to do it. Like, do you know what I mean?
That. So then we hear it's Cheech Marin's like, "Hello, I'm looking for my friend Seth." And like, he has to be putting on that accent if he's not Mexican. He's like, and then he says, "Kick in the door," and they immediately start blasting it with shotguns. Which, fair enough, let's get it over with.
Yeah.
I did like how they're running out, and then it hits the disco ball, which blows them all up, and then they're running out and the fucking thing explodes. Now, I do remember back in the day reading a script where I thought it was really cheesy that it turns out that, Cheech Marin's character at the end is a vampire, and like they attack, Scott, her brother survived or something like that, but he'd hidden the fact he was bitten. It was something like that. And I remember it being very, very cheesy, and like they run into the motorhome when they come out, two of them are vampires or something like that. And now it could be one of these fake things that gets thrown around, but I remember it was pretty consistently the same. Yeah. AI went back in time to fuck with me. I remember thinking that's a bit cheesy, and like it is a very subdued ending for the film. Like once that happens,
it's pretty much. All right, let's get going.
Yeah, like it's...
there is a nice scene between Clooney and Juliette Lewis where it's like, please take me with you. And you go, do you have any idea where I'm going? Like, do you know what I mean?
There's something to talk about with that actually, but I do just like... He has that great line. Cheech Marin's like, oh, what were they, psychos? Well, like, what else is he going to say? Like, he's like, they were vampires. Psychos do not explode when sunlight hits them. I don't care how crazy they are. But they just negotiate. Like, the ending of the film is really weirdly subdued in a way I think that does work, where they're negotiating the price. And then he does sincerely. I remember being like, oh, that's so cool that his tattoo is actually all the way up his arm when he takes off the jacket. Because I remember like... Yeah, I don't know about tattoos, but that George Clooney one, I looked really badass for the rest of my life with that. But it's nice, and he sincerely apologizes to her. He believed that he's, sorry and everything. And I just thought it kind of worked, even though I was like, it's kind of a weird, like you'd nearly, I think maybe he wrote the original ending if it was actually Tarantino, because he's like, well, it can't just be, that's the end, can it? Because it's just kind of odd, like in a way that I think works, but that I was expecting something else to happen.
See, the thing is, not for me. See, for me, like as soon as they got out of the situation, I was like, don't try and fucking give it meaning. Like, just get out of here quick and let me pick up the pieces. Like, even that shit, we can maybe talk about it now, but as it tracks back and it's a fucking Mayan pyramid or something.
Pyramid, yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't even know what that means. Like, I've never even bothered my arse looking at it. Like,
I just took that as just like a cool visual, although there were sequels to this. And was there
Texas
a TV
Blood
show
Money.
or something?
There was, yeah. But the TV show, there's Texas Blood Money, and then there's one that includes Johnny Madrid.
Really?
Yeah. Which is a prequel to
Bon Jovi is in the second one or something, isn't
Robert Patrick's in it as well.
Oh, right.
And Danny
Bruce
Trejo's
Campbell's in one of them as
Danny
well.
Trejo's back.
I think the second one is meant to be okay or something, is it? I've never seen it.
I used to have the trilogy on a box set.
Right.
And I've definitely seen Texas Blood Money, but I might have seen it once, and I don't remember ever seeing the third one.
I remember
seeing who Johnny Madrid is, don't you?
Yeah, it was...
he plays in Lancer in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Timothy Oliphant.
So that was
the third one, but they came out at the same time. Those two films came out side by side, Texas Blood Money and then the third one.
They were straight to DVD or something, weren't they? Or video, whenever.
VHS,
whenever
it would have been,
Now, so, just a quick note on this. So that place where he says he's going, El Rey. Now, that is a reference to, Tarantino he's a big novel fan as well. I can't remember the fucking name of the guy. But that Steve McQueen movie, The Getaway, the original book of that, the ending was that they escaped and went to this place called El Rey, which was in Mexico where they were free. And apparently, like, that's a very gritty, down-to-earth kind of crime book and the movie. And in the movie, they just cross the border to Mexico and that's the end. But in the book, they go to this place called El Rey, and it's nearly like this supernatural place where like there's no happiness, and it's like essentially meant to be kind of hell on earth, like you're just trapped in your own. So that's apparently where Clooney is going, like, because that's El Rey in the world of this with the vampires. So I always found that like you would never know just watching the movie, but that's why he says, "Do you know where I'm going? Do you know what it is?" And it is just this place where criminals go to escape justice, but they end up getting justice anyway. I'm not really doing justice to what it was, but apparently like it's a very controversial ending to the novel, because it's like, where the fuck, that took a real weird turn. Like, it is metaphysical or almost supernatural where El Rey is. It's like kind of a purgatory or hell on earth or something. So I always found that, so it was kind of a nice thing for him not to take her with him. You kind of get that anyway, but when you know that, you're like, oh Jesus, there we go.
Fair play.
So that's From Dusk Till Dawn. Big movie from I do remember, it was like, oh, what's your favorite Quentin Tarantino film? So I remember down in the Gaeltacht talking to a guy who was also a Tarantino guy, and I said, well, what's your favorite? I tended to speak English when there was no one around down there, but I remember he answered me in Irish, and he goes, oh, From Dusk Till Dawn, and I go, oh, Cain Fa, which is why, guys, and he goes, oh, Mar Ta Alon Action, which in English means because there's a lot of action, and I was like, all right, well, even at the time I was like, that's kind of a poor reason, isn't Pulp Fiction slightly more elevated? Look. It wouldn't be my favorite of the Tarantinos, but I still think it stands up very well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think the mixture of Rodriguez's direction and Tarantino's writing, like you said yourself, like, it's not some of the dialogue scene stuff, it's not that drawn out, oh, look at me, what I can do with words. Yeah. Tarantino stuff. It's just very functional, but it's still very good. Like, even some of the lines, the way they're delivered, like, this is just a solid film. Great,
yeah. And I do love, there's no other way to say it, but like the Mexican aesthetic of it, like, and I tried to explain to this dude like why my view of it is. I'm like, well, look, if you look at older like westerns, like Sam Peckinpah films, Mexico is seen as this kind of uncultured, rugged kind of a place where a man can truly be free, and like he's watched. It's a more innocent, kind of that's now again a very Amero-centric kind of a way, although they will say we're in America, a Yankee-centric way of looking at it. But as someone who is ignorant to the whole thing, I'm like, well, I find it kind of appealing, like this place where you can go and you just kind of hang out drinking cervezas all day, and the sun's always shining. Dos mezcal, por favor. And it, again, that just kind of appeals. Like, I always say to them, like, if I were to ever go to Mexico, I don't want to go to maybe places Mexicans would think you'd want to go. I'd be like, I'd like to go to the fucking kind of rundown mariachi kind of place. That seems pretty bitching to me. Whether that's any kind of a reality, I don't know, but it's appealing to me, the aesthetic.
I think you've been sold a pup.
Probably I have, I'd show up and it's like,
those type of places,
what's with all the skyscrapers, bro?
Yeah. Those type of places are where the droves of people are walking across the American border are from.
Yeah, they're everybody get me the fuck out of here. I'm like, hey, look, this is pretty cool. I'm probably a complete fucking ignoramus, but how would that be different than any other topic that I talk about?
Non-submersible units. I don't think there's even any point.
The vampires, I would say Clooney to a large part. Yeah, he's very dominant in the film in a very good way, and Keitel in a kind of a subtler way, but an equally important kind of way. They're the only things I could think that. I mean, that aren't.
I don't think
obvious.
Anybody watching this film who doesn't know what's about to happen could say anything other than vampires.
Yeah,
but. And so I just have to say vampires. Just basing it purely on when I watched that at 15 years of age, like, it's just. Like, when I left this film, I wasn't going, Jesus, that was a really good, gritty fucking gangster drama for the first hour and a half. I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking, whoa, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah. It is a legitimately fairly out there film for like a wide release, like a well-known film with movie stars in it. Like, it is kind of pushing things in a way that, you could maybe say is a bit juvenile, just like, hey, fucking, what happens here? But when it's done with a level of skill... by talented people, even if they are just fucking around, it can still just be something worth your while. So as a fun movie that isn't, particularly, I don't think saying much, I think it's pretty badass and pretty cool. Star rating, Keith? Ooh.
Solid 4, high 4.
Yeah, same here. I give it a 4. I couldn't go. Pulp Fiction's a 5. Yeah. Reservoir Dogs is a 5. Jackie Brown is a 5. I won't just go through all of his movies and why they're 5s. This is.
No, it's not.
It wasn't even attempting to be a 5.
No, I think it's more of its cultural kind of impact that adds. If you really want to break it down into the craft and everything, like probably it doesn't reach the heights of the 4. It needed to be a 4, but it's just the effect that it has on you.
Well, it was going for. I find it funny. Someone like David Fincher, who everyone's like, he's always he has openly said about some of his movies, like, it doesn't have to be your big thing. It's a footnote. It's a footnote movie. And this is a footnote movie that none of them were like, we're going to be ultimately defined by this, though it may be the best thing Rodriguez has ever done. But
I don't know about
that, maybe I prefer Desperado. Yeah.
Desperado's great.
Desperado's
I think so. I
very
love Sin City.
defining, yeah.
Sin City is
Sin
brilliant.
City's very good, yeah.
But especially for an anthology film.
It might
like
still be for me his favorite thing he's done. I'd have to rewatch Sin City and Desperado. They're the ones. Look, it wouldn't be like head and shoulders above them, but like, but as a footnote movie, kind of everyone top notch, very good,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, on that bombshell,
what Tarantino movie would you like to hear us talk about, guys?
and let's talk some more about Paul Dano next week on the Cinema Sessions.
And Matthew Lillard.
So first one down of 2026.
Yeah. What a week. What a day it's been in 2026.
And here we go. Onward and onward.
Adios. Via con Dios.
Bye bye.